What's up, everybody, and welcome back. It's the NBA Fanatic Johnny P. Talking about the draft again. 2015 NBA draft. This time we're going with the fourth pick, the New York Knicks. They select the guy from Latvia, Kristaps Porzingis. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know much about this guy because I don't follow European basketball at all. So, of course, I did my homework. This man is listed, I would view him as a center because of his size, but during the draft they had him listed as a forward. This man is around 7'1", 230 pounds. He's actually a pro overseas in Latvia, and he plays for their team. He ended up winning the Rising Star Trophy in the Euro Cup. Again, I don't know much about that, and of course the NBA is the best league in the world, but I'm assuming there's some weight. It looks like this gentleman has tons and tons of upside. I saw a lot of quotes from a lot of different teams saying that they would draft him up real high. I also found out doing my research that last year in 2014 he did declare to go to the draft, but then right before the draft ended up retracting that. People saw him as a top 15, top 20 pick, but obviously now waiting a year and putting in that extra time, he was a top 5 pick. And there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons with this, because you got to remember, this is the New York Knicks. This is the basketball mecca of the world. People love this city, and their fans are so passionate. And you could see that actually when they called his name. I mean, there were so many boos coming from the crowd, and it was really interesting. I mean, he is 19 years old, still developing. A lot of people see his upside. He's more of a project than anything, which is really, really sad because the New York Knicks need help now, because Carmelo Anthony, he can only do so much, and that's their superstar. And from what I understand, he was not very happy with this pick. Right off the bat, I guess he was real furious, felt like Phil Jackson had backstabbed him. And I think it's interesting because you don't want to make your superstar upset. You don't want to make your guy angry, especially if you're Phil Jackson. I love Phil Jackson. I think sometimes maybe his head gets too big and Phil Jackson just does what Phil Jackson wants to do as opposed to thinking about the team. But who knows what he was thinking about this pick. I like this kid though, because in his post-draft interview, he was saying that it was his dream to play with the Knicks, and he just saw this city as the basketball city, and he said the NBA is the best league in the world, and he's real excited. I'm really looking forward to that. And I think he was genuine with his comments. Some of the pros about this guy is, again, he's a real big dude, real big guy. So he'll have the defense, be able to block a lot of shots, send them back into the crowd. He's able to space the floor because, from what I understand, he shot like 37% or just under 40% from three in his years overseas. He has, from what I understand, great feet. Personally, I haven't seen him play much, aside from a few clips that they showed on TV. I didn't pay attention before that to him, but they say he has great feet. He's real nimble for a big man. But again, the con is that when you have your boy Carmelo essentially not wanting to play with you, or at least not thinking you're a good pick, that does not start off on a good foot whatsoever. Another con that he has is, he has plenty of height, but he's undersized as far as weight. They have him listed at 230 pounds, where a lot of guards, that are 6'6", 6'5", those guys are 230 pounds. So being 7'1", 230, you're real tall, but you're lacking mass. And I feel like a lot of bigger guys could just kind of throw this man around. But Carmelo Anthony ended up going back and saying, no, he was a good steal at the fourth pick and this and that. And he may be great as a 4 pick. Only time will tell. But where there's smoke, there's fire. So if Carmelo Anthony isn't happy, that's not good for Knicks fans. And I know if you're watching the draft, when they called Porzingis' name, you saw that little guy. I know this kid was probably 10 years old, just putting his hand to his head, and you can just see the disappointment and the boos rung out. And mind you, the draft is in New York City. So those are the fan base that will be watching and supporting this man. So for them to boo, that's pretty huge. Now, I've heard boos before, and I've seen players develop really, really well after that and have a really good career. And I do feel that maybe this kid does have a good career ahead of him. However, if you don't have the support of your team and you don't have the support of your fan base right off the bat, and it's hard being a European coming over too, because not many people have seen you play. We all watch college basketball, or at least as much as we possibly can. But in Europe, it's different. We can only go off of what these scouts see when they travel over there to watch these men play. And when the guys like Porzingis come over and do our tryouts and stuff over here, and we don't get much time to analyze that. So we kind of have to go off of what the scouts see and what the analysts see, and they say he has a lot of upside. So I have no reason to doubt that. So we'll see. I hope that for the New York Knicks' sake, I hope this pick works out really well for him. Like I said, he does seem like a developmental project. I think it's great that he pulled his name out last year to try to go higher in the draft this year. He obviously saw that he had room to develop, and I'm sure he knows that now anyway. I think a lot of these guys realize when they get to the draft that, or when they get to the league, that they do still need to develop. They need to learn, and they need to go on and to learn a lot of things from the veterans that are around them. So hopefully Melo will kind of calm down. He calmed down publicly, but hopefully privately he calms down, kind of sees what he needs to do to help this man along, because that's still his team. Unless Melo leaves, he's still in New York, and he and Phil Jackson, man, they need to get this thing figured out up there, because personally, I don't really care either way because I'm a Cleveland fan, but I could see where you have such a huge market in New York. You have the man, Phil Jackson, who's been successful on so many different levels as a player and as a coach, and you have one of the purest offensive players in the league in Melo, and they're not doing anything up there. They're a terrible team right now. Terrible team. So you have a top 5 pick. You have to make this good. And they say a lot of other teams looked at him too, like the Lakers at the 2 pick and stuff like that. So he has some potential. Hopefully they can recognize that and they can work with it, and hopefully he can do something good in the league one day. I wish him the best of luck. I want to see him do well and succeed. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. We'll catch you next video. Bye-bye.